super quick video today. The book I just made came in. It's based off of my comic strip, the Grimsly Bits. I talked about it a little bit in my last video. And I'm super excited. This is the first time I've ever, written a full-length anything. So it's a children's book. And I printed it out through Printivity, which is really awesome if you're into making zines or books or whatever. They have a variety of options. And I wanted a small, 6x6, and it was one of the few printing websites that actually allowed me to do that. So I'm pretty thrilled. I don't know. This video will be backwards. But, basically, the Grimsly Bits is a more, snarky, adult, just comic strip, kind of about my life, but not really. It's what would happen if a witch and a ghost lived in San Francisco and had to deal with, what it's like to be a millennial and dealing with, the lack of magic in the real modern world right now, and how they can make sense of that and have fun. But this is a children's book. So this is about the ghost. The ghost's name is John Grimsly, and he's lost his bat, and he's searching throughout his house and everywhere for his bat. And it's really wholesome. And coming from me, it's surprising how incredibly wholesome and sweet it is. So I was just happy to print out these. I print out 100 copies and I'm selling them. And they're just very, very sweet. He's taking a bath and looking out the window. But I just kind of wanted to share my process a little bit. So part of the reason I'm doing this YouTube channel is to help people who are kind of in a funk or want to be more creative but don't know how to go out and do the things that they want to do. So if you had asked me 3 weeks ago, oh, do you think you're ever gonna print a children's book? I would have said absolutely not. And one day you just wake up with an idea, and sometimes you have to let that idea sit for a while. I started this comic strip a year ago, and I let it sit for a really long time because I didn't think it was good enough, and now I'm actually working on it and trying to develop my portfolio with it. And one day maybe it will be a TV show. That would be the ideal, just have it be an animated TV show. But we're a far ways off. But anyways, so the process is pretty simple. I just one day started drawing. I had an idea. I was all right, children's books are probably the simplest form of stories you can tell because you're literally constrained to have small words, easy language, and that's how Dr. Seuss wrote his books. He was challenged to use a set of 50 or 100 words or whatever it was. That's how Cat in the Hat came around. And in some ways that's restraining, but in some ways that's so easy because then okay, I'm gonna have a short story. It's gonna have 50 pages, although a typical children's book is 32 pages, and I'm just gonna create a small story in that world. So if you start small, you can map it out pretty easily. So what I did is kind of a comic book. I mapped out, it took a day, literally in squares. I was okay, I know the first page I wanted to have just a picture of John standing there in his ghostly splendor. It actually ended up being a different spread, but there's the first page, there he is, and it's just you just have to have an idea and just roll with it. So here are tiny sketches, and the final version is a little bit different from these, but on the back I had the lines that were gonna go on each page. So in the end, I'm pretty thrilled. And the only advice I can, and the other thing is I had this idea one day and then I drew half of the pictures, not even, I drew 10, 15 of them, and I put it aside for a month, or maybe a couple weeks, but I was just I don't want to do it, I'm really lazy, I'm really tired, and you're always gonna find excuses to not do the work that you want to do. This is a short video because I'm going to the gym after this, which I've been putting off. And that's just kind of the thing, is if you want to be a creative person, you need to do the stuff all the time. You need to sit down, you need to make sure you make a video every Tuesday, you need to make sure that you make a drawing for Inktober every single day. And it can seem super hard, but if it's something that you really love, getting through the grind it'll work itself out. And I'm a really firm believer that if you love something, you'll make time for it. So, you gotta start out with tiny weird sketches. Sometimes it's ghosts, looking at castles with their binoculars or talking to gargoyles. but it's really cute. And yeah, I just kind of want to inspire people to do their own thing. And if you want a copy of one of these books, if you know me, reach out to me personally, and if you don't, just leave a comment and we'll work something out. But I look forward to making more of these in the future. So thanks.